2 of the Edgenuity lesson, Radian Measure. So if you're looking at the coordinate plane and we assign degrees to each axis, the positive x-axis is considered 0 degrees. Up here is 90 degrees, 180, 270, and if you complete the circle, it's 360 degrees. So 0 and 360 degrees are coterminal. The way radians work, starting here initially, this would be 0 radians. Then I'm going to go ahead and just jump to what 180 is. So what I do is I envision, because we're talking about pi, literally baking 2 pies. And you take your first pie, and you want to make, or you take both your pies, you want to make a really big pie. So you take your first pie, and you shove it up here and make it so that it fits up here in the positive y values. So you have 1 whole pie right there. Then you take your second pie and smush it in down here to create the other half of your new giant pie. So your new giant pie now has 2 pies in there. So up here, if this is 0 and this is 1 pie, this is exactly in the half. So this would be half of a pie, which we write as pi over 2. So the way I said it was a half of a pie, but we don't write it like that. We write it as pi over 2. So here is 0, pi over 2, 1 whole pie. This is 1.5 pies. But another way, we don't ever really write it like that. We write it as 3 pi over 2. And then we get our 2 whole pies there. So again, half pie, whole pie, 1.5 pies, 2 pies. So 1 complete revolution around the circle in radians is 2 pi. If we want to convert between degrees and radians, if you have a degree and you want it to be a radian, you multiply your degree measure by pi over 180. If you're given a radian and you need to convert that to degrees, you multiply it by 180 over pi. So on this one, we're given a radian, and we need to convert it to degrees. So I'm going to do pi over 4, and I'm going to multiply it by 180 over pi. So this makes sense, right? Because now we have pi on top and bottom, and they cancel. And in degrees, we don't usually have a pi. So now I have 180 over 4, which is 45 degrees. The second one says convert negative 60 degrees to radians. So we have to multiply it by pi over 180. So don't let the negative fool you or anything. It's just multiplying a negative times a positive. So negative 60 times pi is negative 60 pi. And then in the denominator, we just have 1 times 180. Negative 60 over 180 simplifies to negative 1/3. So that's negative 1 pi over 3 or negative pi over 3. When you are trying to find the arc length of a circle, so basically what that is you don't want to find the circumference of the whole circle. You just want to find like a part of it. Like if I just want to know what this length right here was, I could use this formula here. And to do that, if you're trying to find the arc length, you need the radius and the central angle measure in radians right there. Use this formula. On this one, it says a circle has a central angle of 7 pi over 10 radians, and arc length 33 centimeters. What's its radius? So on this one, we're actually solving for the r. We know the arc length is 33 centimeters. We don't know what the radius is, but we know our central angle is 7 pi. On your Edgenuity quiz, it will say that you can use 3.14 for pi as an approximation. So if I go 7 pi, 3.14, divided by 10, we'll get 2.198. So divide both sides by 2.198. R is about 15 centimeters.